Good morning, friends. Hello from wherever you may be watching, whether it be live, whether it be on a replay. Suffice to say, I'm a bit disappointed at the world. And not at all surprised, I suppose. Not at all surprised. Um, I don't know. I think it's worth noting. I think it's just worth discussing the best actress speech that was given last night. And it's not to say that Anora is not deserving of some awards, but I I don't know. There's it's a discussion that I think people just need to like have overall, or like just some reflection of where we're at. Normal people, like this video is likely not for the people who are subscribed to me and who understand who I am. It's for people who don't know who I am and just for everyday people. What's up, Metastep? Good to see you, man. What I see in that acceptance speech last night from Mikey Madison is an acceptance that Hollywood is 100% okay with a culture that promotes, I don't even want to say degeneracy, because like I think you could certainly go that route, and I'm sure there's people who would say, Shag, you're being crazy. Sex work is degenerate, et cetera, et cetera. But to be clear, I don't necessarily care how people make their living, how they make their money. But you know, there's a conversation to be had surrounding Hollywood and its willingness to accept and promote certain types of sexual acts and lifestyles and all that. And I think it's a real fine line. It's a real fine line between like the whole climate that Hollywood has been walking and upholding for not generations, but for decades. You know, Hollywood has been operating under this very like, you know, how do we say? Like they've been okay with these favors that people do, these acts that, and then only recently are we like really cracking down on it. $2 from the Beast says, I'd like to dedicate this super to the horse. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your $2. I mean, like I said, rock on with your bad self, but understand like when Hollywood has pushed this idea that we need to come out with all these Me Too movements, we need to shut all these people down, and then meanwhile a young girl gets up on stage and says, I just want to honor the sex workers out there. Like, no, like, I think you need to understand what it is that you're upholding. You really need to understand what it is you're upholding and promoting. Like, a lot of this stuff, a lot of that industry, like, orbits around, trafficking and abuse. Not everyone is, not every OnlyFans model is raking in seven figures. Like it is an industry that, like most, benefits a few, is exploitative, and and I honestly I would say it's not the healthiest of lifestyles. Um, like I said, I'm not. I understand that people engage with this sort of work in order to get through to the next stage, right? Like hey, I need to objectify myself in order to pay bills, to take in money, because that's what people are willing to do. I can't find a job. The job market sucks. I hear that. But, again, I think the hypocrisy that we're seeing from Hollywood is that, like, let's honor sex work, but, but meanwhile, they're like the real people who have likely really abused others and trafficked and abused the sex work themselves are, they're just kind of, right, no one's turning anyone in, everyone knows, but no one wants to say anything type deal that we're in right now. It's kind of sad because normal people will look at this and go, yeah, girl, yeah. And people will look at that movie and go, damn, she's hot. Look at her move. Look at her shake her ass. Like, but the larger commentary, like, is on just sort of the sad spot. I think that we are, is that a movie like that was made because the people knew that this was going to be the reaction. That movie cleaned up and was not deserving of nearly like half of those. They'd be better off doing a horror story about being paid, but having to be literally shit on or forced to, yeah. Yeah. How many does it take to cross the line between rape and consent? Apparently it's $100. So, like, what I mean is, like, it's a sad state of affairs. It's a really sad state of affairs when people are clapping, like standing ovations to honoring sex workers, not even understanding, like, what I need now is for someone to really drill down on the industry of sex work. I'm sure people have done it, but this would be the perfect time to to lay out the real documentary on sex work and what it does to women in real life. Like, just think about it. I don't even think necessarily shaming. I don't even think you necessarily have to shame it. I think you need to tell people the real story about it. There is nothing good. There's nothing to honor with sex work. I mean, it is dangerous. It is exploitative. It is abusive more often than not. Like, dangerous and like you could die. The diseases that you can get. Like, yeah, I mean, the unfortunate part is that people look at a thing like The Sound of Freedom and they don't. And from what I've heard, it embellishes too much in what the real story actually was. That aside, it's still a good film, but I think we're talking about two different things. You can see the problem. The problem is that people are empowering the act of like, hey, I can see somebody completely naked for less than the price of a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Right? I saw someone tweet that the other day. I can't claim ownership on that. Like, that's really where we're at. People are paying like $100 to go like meet up with these models and like bang them. Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff you just get is just, yeah, it's just free. But people pay these girls because they feel it's on some level that there's some chance that they might ever interact with them because they're quote unquote normal women. But that's below them, Andy. That's below them. Working at McDonald's is below these women because remember they can turn themselves into objects and make way more money. That's way more gratifying to them. It's more more fulfilling work. Probably meta, but you get the point is that the price is way too low either way. The price is way too low either way. Isn't like one of few actually the top actually make Gutty and the rest are better off working at Mickey D. Yeah, like for the most part, like these women don't make much money. There is it's like any other industry, right? That's the funny thing is like all these industries are run by a select few and they make a lot of money and they all say you could make so much by by doing this kind of work. The potential is there, which there's no doubt about it, but the things that you have to be willing to do. Hey, what's up, Mephisto? Just remember, they don't, and like really, and remember, like the thing that I'm really like focused on with this discussion and this conversation, and when I wake up because I didn't watch that last night. I'm sort of done with that awards. I'm glad that Adrian Brody won. I think he was very deserving of the Brutalist. Um, but Mikey Madison winning, and I feel like this was just sort of the Hollywood layup, like, oh, this is what we have to do because it was such a brave subject matter to tackle, and quite honestly, I don't find her attractive at all. I think I can see why people do, but like even the part where she's like, I did like my mom, like she's like acknowledging her mom and her parents. I would be like, it takes a certain kind of person to be proud of your daughter for doing that, like to making that movie. Like I understand that she didn't like do that stuff, but like to sit up there and say, "Oh, I oh my god, I just can't imagine, man. I can't imagine." It's embarrassing to me. It's embarrassing for Hollywood to do that. I mean, and I understand too, like let me be clear. I understand that Hollywood did not say those words. Mikey Madison said those words. The problem is that several people in that audience celebrated those words when she said, "We need to honor sex work." They stood up, some clapped, some were happy. They panned to the audience. You see them all filled with joy. You're right. Yes. Oh my God, she's so brave. I would be proud of her getting rich, then ask her to quit because she is rich. I mean, I've never heard of Mikey Madison before this. I would like to see what her filmography is besides that. But I don't know, man. It's a really, it really bothers me that like Hollywood was like, felt like it was on this like path of where we are snuffing out the like these predators in this business. There are some people who did some really awful things. You know, it wasn't about merit. It was just about who can S the best D. It was about people exploiting these women because because they were pigs, and then they get up there and they celebrate sex workers, and I'm just like, wow, at least from my point of view, you lost a lot of steam here. Like just totally tone deaf. Like, and just the irony is like you could drizzle it over pancakes. Like, do you really care about the lives of women? Do you really care about those suffering in trafficking and abuse when you say, I honor sex workers? Like, what is it that you're talking about? Do you honor sex workers, or do you honor OnlyFans models that are trying to put themselves through nursing school? Because even that, I would say, wow, how out of touch are you that you don't understand that most of these chicks are sitting at home hoping and praying that someone discovers their butthole and likes it enough to give them more money month after month? Or are people just desperate enough to drop a few bucks here and there to squeeze one out? Is that really where we're at? So essentially, from wall to wall, this is just it's just the weirdest, most absurd thing I think that we've come across. Funny how Me Too stopped at men and kids. Like, no one got exposed by Me Too for messing with kids, not one. I mean, the one they go back to constantly is Kevin Spacey, that he was like sort of like the underage, like he was messing with the underage boys. Shit, they want to hire those sex workers. Why would I pay for an OnlyFans when we have AI that can do it for free? I mean, again, it's a predatory business, right? Like, these women think like these women are the biggest. Like, in many ways, they're just hypocrites because they're saying like they're fighting the system, independent. They don't realize like they are preying on men and women in the very same ways, in exploitative ways. Give me a little money. Give me money. Give me your money. And these people who are paying for it, like, some of them have the money to do it, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't have the disposable income to be throwing towards women. The ones that are making, like, the top like 1% or 0.01% of these women who have like Saudi princes like flying them out places and just handling them, like those are the anomaly. Those are the exceptions. The rule are exploiting the weakness of men. The weakness of, hey, if you just give me a few bucks, like, this could happen. Like, I like, they're playing the I'm a stripper and I like you game. Again, it's exploitative in a very like sort of nefarious way. I'm not off, like, it's a service you pay for that doesn't offer you anything in return. And I joke, I've joked before about going to the strip club and paying for a hard on or whatever, and it's it's hilarious, whatever. But like, these people, like these women, like, that this is what they do. They're professional whores. I have nothing to offer you. There's nothing to gain from this service other than an empty wallet. That is what the services, and this is what we're going to champion on a stage in Hollywood. And then people are going to give Chalamet, or whatever his name is, Timothy, they're going to give him shit for saying he wants to be one of the greats. It's absolute insanity. These people truly wonder why a lot are just sort of abandoning Hollywood. Like I have some faith. There are good movies that are out there. I don't think Mikey Madison should have won Best Actress. I don't know what it is that she did that was so great. I'm going to keep it 100. I don't understand why her performance was the best out of all those nominees. I don't get it. It's bizarre. It's just so bizarre to me. Let me quick look back. All right, how did I miss it? So the nominees for the Best Actress were Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Garcon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for The Substance, Fernando Torres. I think Demi Moore should have won, quite honestly. What's up, Vex? I just want a new Alien versus Predator movie. Women really do live on easy mode. All any of us need to do is act like a whore to win an Oscar. Yeah, it shows you like it just shows you again like what the expectation of women are. Like this is the standard we hold you to, and it's like here's the low bar. Here's the low bar. That we're holding you to. But Gooner Gate. Additionally, they put a man in that category instead of Lily. Yeah. Oh my God. I won't understand. And like that aside, like that whole thing aside of it being like of I don't that's a whole other thing. But yes, 100%. You know what's funny? I don't even fully like this is how purposely out of touch I am. I don't even understand the Goonergate shit at all. I don't. And I don't care. Oh, because they were so outspoken. Yeah. Yeah, had that not come to light, she probably would have won. You probably couldn't have Demi Moore win because she's a white woman, right? Like that wouldn't have been good to show. I'm surprised. Well, Wicked just I think was there to be there. I don't think it was deserving of a best actor by any stretch, but had a nominator. I just think Demi Moore was the best out of all of them. And that movie was great. And it wasn't like The movie was great, and I think, but out of all those selections, I think she was easily the best. That's Christ. I'm still appalled that that's where we're at. Women, you're only as good as how good you can shake your ass. Right? Like, and again, this is what, like, it drives me insane. Like, ladies, you are an object. You are an object, and that's what you should aspire to be, because if you objectify yourself, you too could be the best actress. If you're willing to sell your body, you too can be appreciated. Unergate equals thinking sexy women is enough to restore and save gaming, like culture warriors. Oh God. People actually think that? Is that a thought that inherits people's minds? It's dumb people like attractive characters in their games. So do I, and now I'm trying to shut that down as dumb. Yeah. Do I enjoy the problem is people are under this delusion that, like, we've always had high fidelity women in graphics and games, and that's what sold games, and like that's retarded. Some of the best games in history are pixels or blocky, like, I mean, they're not. High fidelity gaming is very new, and we've for the better part of gaming history, it's been that gameplay mechanics, performance, and narrative story is what is selling a game, is how it withstands the test of time. Because Nintendo, Atari, I mean, literally up until PlayStation 2, that was non-existent. And PlayStation is stretching it. I say PlayStation because that's when you start having like cinematic, like CG, like into the games. And actually, maybe before that, maybe. Well, I guess GameCube is same era, so. You might be impressed what some people can do with pixels. Yeah. People who fucking people who drool over pixels are the same people that enjoy furries. And we all know how I feel about furries. Gaming is a male hobby, so it makes sense that sexy women are in. But to combat woke now with culture now the culture is pushing sexy women as a reason. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Bex. We will find that Pong is hurting women article one day. No, you will. That's the thing. There's someone stupid enough to write that nonsense. Pong and why it's oppressive to females and non-binary gamers. I'm sure it's out there. Just look it up. I'm sure it's there. Driver alert warning, rest now. Fine. Your daughter says she's a furry? Oh, shit. Well, I'm sure your daughter's fine. Listen, not all, I'm not saying all. Actually, I did say all. But how do you feel about furries? If you hate them, check out Flash Gets Animation. I think furries are the most insufferable like group of people and weirdest group of people. And like I don't have hardline opinions on nearly anything, but like I cannot stand furries and that community. I think it's the most absurd, disgusting, weird thing that you could do. And that's just the female furries. The male furries are even weirder. If you're a man and you're a furry, fuck you. And I say that with the biggest Draco Malfoy F I could possibly do. With my whole chest. And what I really mean too is like in games, like I can't stand playing like anthropomorphic like that's why like Final Fantasy IX, I like it, but it's too furry for me. They lean too hard on the furry thing. And the same thing with Final Fantasy 14. Even that, like I don't know. I could never get into it. Metastep, I hope I didn't hurt your feelings. I'm obviously not talking about your daughter. I'm just in general. Also, what's up, Brahma Bull? I saw you. Yeah, I'm like, I want to do I would love to do a more in-depth like talk about this, and we probably will talk more about it on Wednesday. But seeing the news and what she said like about sex work, just it really fucking pissed me off. Really pissed me off that people are celebrating this. Like this should be way more controversial in the Hollywood space, given what they've been trying to do over the past 5 years. Like celebrating sex work? Are you mad? Honoring sex work? Are you mad? Honoring like the trafficking of humans, the abuse of humans? Yeah. So brave, girl. So brave that's what we're celebrating. So go. Unfucking real. These people are disgusting hypocrites. They're disgusting hypocrites. What that audience should have been was crickets. It should have been crickets in that room with that one asshole in the back going, yeah! And then everyone turned and was like, fuck that guy too. That's what that whole thing should have been. It should have been front motherfucking page news. That's what it should have been. Not Amelia Perez, wow. I mean, Anora actress celebrates sex work. One guy in the back celebrates. What is Hollywood doing as it upholds abuse and human trafficking? Ah, man, it's pretty unforgivable. It's a slap in the face to people who like suffer at the hands of like true like monsters, like real monsters. Because I'll tell you, people who traffic others, who engage in this type of sex work, are like abhorrent human beings. They don't care. They don't care about like the rights of the individual. They care about satisfying their own pleasures. Yeah. It wasn't the best picture out of that pool either. It was not the best picture. Again, just the way that people believe, or just like this is the standard you set now. This is how low you've set the bar. The one guy in the back out to the would turn out to be the actress's brother. No, he was sitting in the front. Mom and dad were in the back. Remember, she pointed to the back for mom and dad, and then her twin brother was right in front. Sad. Very, very, very sad. I mean, I'm upset Nosferatu won nothing and wasn't even properly nominated. Bill really didn't get a supporting actor nod. Yeah, it was insane, in my opinion. The 4K Blu-ray is so good. Is so good. It's not about cinema anymore. Like, to some degree it is, but like Nosferatu should have won something. Like, it should have been up there with the greats. And there's movies that are great that didn't win a bunch of awards. It is, but it's truly a travesty that they don't look at a movie like that and go, yes. And best actress awards, I feel like those awards, when you look at the history of them, so many of those best actress awards are just transformative. They're transformative. They took those actresses and they were someone else. And this, that chick looked exactly the same. It looked like she walked off that movie and put on a longer dress, and that was it. Oh yeah, Defoe is insane. Defoe is just great in everything he does. Well, most everything he does. Right, and imagine that. A movie that's written and directed by a woman that's genuinely superb. Nothing really bad to say about the substance. It's fucking good. It's fucking good. But for some reason, it's not you're not gonna hear about that. You're not gonna be hearing about written and I don't know. It's not a narrative that seems to be, and I don't know why. It's not a narrative that seems to be really important right now, because we need to celebrate sex work. We need to celebrate trans identity, women of color. You know what I mean? All of that can happen simultaneously. But I don't know, man. We live in a very bizarre time. I just had a thought. Did USAID or our taxes go to these awards? I'm sure. Probably to some extent, sir. We deserve a better look into these movies, a better dissection into these movies as a whole. Right now it's not about the movies on a technical narrative level. It's a superficial dissection of diversity, and I'm not going to be the one that say it's harming Hollywood, because that's not even the right word, and I'm so sick of people saying shit like that. It's hurting film as an art form, because people will break their ass on making genuinely amazing films, and they're just completely overlooked. So when are you starting the shag scars? Shag skirts? We should do it. that like honestly, I here's what I've always wanted to do. There's two things that I've always wanted to do, and I've started talking about it with friends. One, starting a real like so. I never thought that the real game awards was the way to go. I always thought it was like we should have a gamer, like an everyday gamer Hall of Fame. That would be a much more like fun and like attainable thing because you don't need the people there. And I would love to do a yearly like fan award show. I'm like no joke because the past 2 years I just haven't been able to get to as many movies as I like. I'm usually very late to seeing them, so it's hard sometimes for me to keep up. But man, would I like to like really break down and like award some of these like break down some of these movies in a more complete way. Because I would love to know what their thought process is on why Anora wins Best Picture and why Mikey Madison wins Best Actress. Like what? Like how do we fulfill that whole thing? Like what was it that earned that movie Best Picture and what earned her Best Actress? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you, and I think most people couldn't tell you. The Shagskers. I think we need a better name than the Shagskers. She reenacted some some of her scenes from the voting table. I'm sure you can just make a website that lists a bunch of games and give vote categories, and you can change your vote as time goes on. Yeah, well, I would like to like induct as like each year. I would love to like have a list of games and add like them to a Hall of Fame that gamers decide. Like, you know, for lack of a better term, real gamers decide. You know, Amelia Perez like was there for the activism. Unfortunately, Amelia Perez was just objectively a bad movie. Like, I think you could tell the story, but like the musical number part of it was really bad, like laughably bad. And like, and that's you know my concern is like you can't just like go that route of you know putting someone putting someone into that category, a movie into that category because you need to check a box. That's not what the awards are about. You know the technical the technical aspect of movie making, the narrative development of movies. No, not a better name than Shagsworth. A better name than Shagskers, like the Oscars, but the Shagskers. Um, but Amelia Perez had no business being in those awards. Like Zoe Saldana, like sure she was the best supporting actress in that, but like oh shit, where are you going? But that's I mean that in and of itself is such a low bar. It's just sad that it's a I don't know how many people are going to realize like what was said last night is pretty shitty considering what they've been attempting to do over the past 5 years. And there will be way more celebrating than criticism. And if you do criticize, it's going to be that, you're misogynistic. You don't believe that women can do what men can do, and blah blah blah. Sex work isn't work. Well, it certainly is a type of work, but should we be celebrating it on a stage as big as the Oscars? No, I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. I missed when High School Musical did the music for fun and not because it's deep. Well, like those like musicals use music to push the narrative forward, right? It was like a criticism of the Joker. The Joker 2, like it didn't use music in the typical musical way of like driving the narrative forward. It would do a thing, it would do and say a thing, and then sing a song along with it. Or the other way, it would sing a song and tell you a thing, and then do that thing directly afterwards and tell you the same thing. And it's like, well, that's not how this goes. Like musical numbers are supposed to be part of the narrative experience. They do it in all the greats. So why is it that this one is doing it different? And the same thing, like the musical numbers in Amelia Perez are just bad. They're not good. Like they're just not good. I will give you a little preview too that Hollywood has become a symbol of celebrating and pushing the depravity of our society. But there's so much evidence too that it doesn't always do that. You know, there's evidence that it doesn't do that. And that's my issue, is that, you know, I don't know. It doesn't always have to be like that. And for some reason, the biggest awards are going to the most depraved symbols and like subject matters. And it's not to say these people aren't human or good or whatever. Like I'm sure Mikey Madison is a great human being, but like this was not the best picture. She was not the best actress. Yeah, and that is a big criticism. Is like they will push those things to the forefront and say, hey, these are the best options. This movie is so good, and like I said, they'll get up on stage and let her say something like, you know, we should honor sex workers, and everyone claps. Huh? What? And I don't know. And that's the thing, is I don't know if I should just lay this at her feet and be like, you know, she's the guilty one of saying this. Hollywood's not necessarily upholding this, but when they do put a film like Amelia Perez up, I think, well, there's truly nothing good about this movie. Again, Zoe Saldana being best supporting actress in that movie again is such a low bar. Like, yeah, she's a real serious actress in that, and everyone else seems to be there as a joke. But I like seeing people like Kieran Culkin win, you know, best supporting actor. I like seeing Adrian Brody win best actor. Like deserved, well deserved. But like the substance, like come on, like where's Nosferatu? Nosferatu needs a better position in the Oscars. Like Dune Part 2 is like fucking phenomenal. Like these films are not talked about in ways that they deserve to be talked about. And maybe Denis Villeneuve or whatever is is cooked. Maybe he's too celebrated, but I'll tell you, man, he has made some truly inspiring movies. Like, he is really good at what he does. And I know some people don't like everything he does, but I like there are a few things that I don't appreciate by him. Oops, I totally missed my mouth on that. It's not happening. It's not happening, but it's a good thing. It's happening, and you should cheer for it. Yeah, that is certainly the progression of things. Is that, oh, that's not happening? What are you talking about? And then it's, oh wait, it's not happening, but like it'd be a good thing. It is a good thing if it is happening. And then it's, oh, it's happening, and you should cheer for it. Yeah, it certainly seems to be how things go. Oftentimes, that's unfortunate because there's a lot of pure talent out there that is overlooked by these award shows. I don't think it's overlooked overall. Like, I do think people recognize how great a movie like Nosferatu is, but like on the grand stage, like it should be acknowledged, and they're choosing to look at these superficial traits of a movie in lieu of really dissecting what makes these movies great on a technical narrative level. Cinematography, sound design, score. I mean, there's so many things. Like, when you look at some of these truly great movies, like, all this stuff comes together in a way that's like, it's like magic, truly. But what do I know? I am some lowly YouTube commentator. What do I know? What business do I have discussing women in film and sex work, right? I should just keep my mouth shut. Make no mistake, I do not care how people make their money. I do care about the optics surrounding this whole award show right now and the celebration of sex work the way they did, the crowd cheering. I think it's totally horrible, bad optics for whatever movement it was that they were trying to push. It's just despicable and disgusting and gross. And I think, like, it's just another example of Hollywood letting the mask slip too far. But I don't know if people will actually see it. I think, again, it's just another form. They'll mask it under the guise of women's empowerment. These are strong women going up against a really hateful, hurtful system. And, the truth is the system has been rigged for them, and the bar has been lowered so far that all they need to do is exploit. We just need to celebrate exploiting your body, objectifying yourself, and you're brave and you're stunning and you're awesome and you're beautiful. No work should go into it. It should just be you exposing yourself. Right? Right. And the irony will be lost on just about everybody. Like I said, most people will celebrate this static. They'll celebrate this as a win for women and their independence. And you know what? Like, again, I'm not you. People can do what they want, but damn. I'm not saying, and before people think that I don't think that anyone had to work hard, like, I'm sure Mikey Madison worked hard to get where she was, to get that role, and to be in that role. I'm not downplaying anything that she may have done to prepare for her role, but I think the messaging is it's poor timing, it's in poor taste, and it's tone deaf. And I think it totally skirts the real issues that are happening within the sex worker industry. It continues to promote abuse and human trafficking, but that's okay as long as Hollywood gets to push their own diversity and inclusion in that sphere. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I thank you for those who have watched. And we had a super chat from the Beast 808. Thanks again for your $2. I'd like to dedicate this to the whores. I appreciate you, dude. You're very, very cool. It's always great having you in the community, and everyone who watched today, who lurked. It is awesome. Davey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Metastep, Andy, Vex was here. Static 2020 was here. There are so many. Mephisto stopped in to say hello. There has been a lot of great folks stopping by. I appreciate you, but I must get on with my day. We'll see you guys next time, Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll be live with the midweek hump, talking about this once again with the panel and some more stuff as well. See you guys.
I like to put stuff online.